Three, two. Hey everyone, it's Brian from McDuff's, and today we're going to do a what sold video. And the purpose of doing what sold, for me at least, is to help you keep an eye out for things that might be valuable to you. Maybe you never thought of selling something like this before, or maybe you have a you look at something and go, oh, why would anybody buy this? Well, you never know sometimes. Some of these things sell very quickly, some take a while. So take a look and see what's sold, and maybe that will give you some ideas. And if, as always, you can always leave me questions. I always answer my questions in the comments section below. So first up here we have a cast iron skillet. Now, probably a lot of you know that cast iron skillets can be quite valuable. This is a Wagner. It's probably about 100 years old. I think I cleaned it up and seasoned it a bit. It'd been a long time, still a bit of rust on it down here, but that's really not the big issue with them. You can sell them rusty even, and people will buy them. But I did charge shipping because I don't know where it's going to. It's expensive to ship these things. They're heavy, so $681 to ship the thing. But I sold it for $35. Next up is something called, it's from a company called Rocketfish, and they make electronics for communications. And this is basically a music broadcaster. You can connect your phone up or whatever you want to it, and it will broadcast music throughout your house using your Wi-Fi. And of course, you have to have a speaker or something on the other end of it too as well. I bought these at a church rummage sale for $3 each, and they were brand new. They'd never been opened or anything, and they sold for $22.95. I did pay the shipping on these because they're actually quite light to ship. So if it's a pound or less, I pick up the shipping because it's pretty easy to do that. And just, of course, you have to build that into the price too as well. Next up is a set of books I picked up from our local library. They have a sale every month. This is the Stephanie Plum novels. I have the highest number I have in there. But this is the Stephanie Plum novels. Janet Ivanovich is the author. This is books 7, 8, and 9. They sell for $12 plus $5.38 for shipping. I only paid, I think it was $3 for the whole lot of those. I'm trying to remember what I paid for some of these. This I paid like $4 for. It's a family scale. I'm not sure. It looks like you might weigh a baby on it or something like that. You put a basket on it, weigh a baby or something like that. Not really sure. But anyway, it's a family scale. It's a vintage item, $35. Here is, now this is something that you can be on the lookout for if you can find them. And they don't even have to be old. This is an owner's manual for a car. This is actually for a 1965 Fairlane. I found a guy at a sale that had a bunch of these old owner's manuals, and some, I'll show you another one too that sold. It wasn't a car even, but even newer owner's manuals sell, because when people sell a car, it's always desirable to have the owner's manual in there. It gives you a little bit more cred and everything when you're trying to sell the thing, because they can be kind of pricey. They sold for $19, and it shipped very cheaply. I think it was only like about $4 to ship it, $4.50 or so like that. So it's fine. I paid, probably $1 for the thing. It came in a bunch of other ones too. And then next up is a book I sold. This one is Swan's Way by Marcel Proust. It's a 1954 book, sold for $17. And I've been paying for the shipping on the books to help move them along. I really didn't pay anything for these old books. I got them in a storage locker. I was looking for other things in there, and all these books were in there as well. So maybe pennies I paid for these books, if you want to think of it that way. And next up, all right, come on, work with me. Here we are. I bought a lot of knives. Actually, I bought these on Whatnot. I paid up for those. There was a large lot of knives, and some of them were valuable, some were not. I'm really just trying to get my money back on this deal. So I'd sold 2 of these knives. I'm almost there. I've got like, this is 15. I think it might be $30 or so. have looked at the bag of knives I was buying a little more carefully. I just got excited. Ooh, knives. But this one was pretty cool. This is probably from the 1960s or maybe 1970s. It comes with a leather sheath. It's got some age to it. This sheath is kind of rough. Leather kind of falls apart after a while. But knives are always very, if you get good knives, you have to do your research a little bit on those. So you're not buying a junk, like even though it might be red, it might not be a Swiss Army knife. You have to look them up. This is another book. It's called The Last Stand of the Tin Can Sailors, and is book recounting events in World War II. It sold for $12. This is something you may be on the lookout for if you're not into, even if you're not into video games, because this unit, I don't even think that it worked. It was in pieces. I'll show you some of the pictures here. You see, the lid wasn't even on. I don't have the screws to hold it on. I don't even remember where I got the darn thing from. Probably from a storage locker. It was in there, and I got it. I did take it apart myself to try and get the mechanism to accept a cartridge, and I was able to do that. And so I put on there, and within minutes it sold for $20. Maybe I should ask more for it. But I really thought it'd be hard to sell one of these for parts. But people buy them for the parts, mostly for the case, and then the circuit boards inside. They can replace them. Make other units work that they have. So yeah, he sent me really nice feedback. Says thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I should ask for a little bit more, but he did pay the shipping. It was $6.54 for shipping on that. This I didn't really know what I was doing. I bought this little brass jar, I guess you call it. It's probably used for, I don't know if it was used for incense, but anyway, it's a jar. It's got ventilation holes at the top, and has the knob for the lid, but it had little handles that go on the side, and those handles are missing. You can see this is where they would have been soldered on right here. But, it's kind of an interesting piece, I guess, if you can use it, for storage, or you could put potpourri in it or something like that. Anyway, it sold for $14.99. I paid like $2 for it, so it's all good. It's all good. All goes to the good. I bought these from a lady. I was selling things at a flea market, and when I had a minute, I went down the row where I was in, and this woman had this bag of emblems from cars, and I go, I wonder if it was from a 350, like an E350, like a Ford, but it turned out it wasn't from that. It turned out to be from a Chevy Caprice Impala. So I bought a bunch of these. I paid each, so this cost me $4. I buy them individually, but they did sell for $35, so not a bad deal. I have other ones I've sold from this same lot too. I don't know that you're going to see them here. This book sold right away. It's the French cookbook from the Culinary Arts Institute of Chicago. Sold for $7. I paid pennies for these books. It came in a binder with a bunch of other books, a similar design but different topics, but this one is the French cookbook. It sold for $7 plus $4.63 in shipping. I may have paid $1 for it, or probably less. I paid less than $1 for it because they were just trying to get rid of this thing. So I would say probably closer to a quarter, actually, if I remember correctly. And here's another knife from that lot of knives that I bought. That one sold for $16. So I'm halfway into getting my money back from these knives. I'll have to sell a couple more of them, and I'll be okay. VHS tape rewinders. Now, a lot of times you'll find these new. People will buy them, and I guess they don't use them or whatever. But anyway, this was new. It was still sealed in the box and everything. I paid, I believe, $3.50 or $3.95, I think, for it. Sold for $29. The buyer paid the $6.54 for shipping. And here's another book. This is a Charles Dickens book. It's called Barnaby Rudge. It sold for $22, a vintage book. Like I said, this came in a locker of books. I paid pennies for these books, so yay, I bought this from a friend's neighbor. She had a bunch of Carhartt stuff. Her husband worked for the city I live in Dearborn, and the city would give him work clothes basically, or I had a way of buying them at a discount or something. But he had all these, brand new Carhartt ones, and I bought these in the summertime. And I said, well, when the weather gets cold, I bet we'll sell them. And sure enough, yep, they started selling I only have one Carhartt item left. I don't know if it's pants or jacket, like sew pants or something, but the weather's getting cold. Yeah, they'll start buying that stuff. I've had this for a long time. I don't even know how long I've had this, but it's a antique lock set. Um, the and this is why I always answer questions when people ask you. I mean, they ask you legitimate questions because sometimes you get ones that you're going like, "Will you take 5 cents for this?" No, but anyway, in this case, this lock set, he was asking me, what is the size of this section right here? And he said, is it 7 inches? And I said, and I measured it. I said, yes, that's 7 inches. He says, great, I'll buy it right away. And sure enough, he did. So he got the two locks, the key mechanism, the face plates, and I don't know what they call it, the strike plates here, and the knobs, and the hardware that went with it. So $59. I think I paid, oh geez, that was a couple of years ago. I think I paid about $5 or $6 for the whole lot there. That selling antique hardware is a slow sell, just so you know. This is sell really quickly. This is another book that came out of that lot of vintage books. I didn't think I'd ever sell this one here, but the Porter of Saint Bonaventure. All right, sold for $10. I only make about, after paying the shipping and everything, I only make $4 or $5 on a $10 book. So I may have to start charging shipping on those, but I don't have all that many left anymore. This is the Maldive Mystery by Thor Heyerdahl. Thor Heyerdahl was a adventurer in, I think, in the 1960s and 70s. Sometimes back then, he built his own book to kind of sail the way of, I think, the Vikings or something like that. But anyway, he was an adventurer, and he did write other books too. This was called the Maldive Mystery. Sold for $12.95. Like I said, it's a very slow book. About 8 months, 7, 8 months I've had it in there. So it takes a while to sell some of these older books. Here's an idea for you. This is a part that came out of our own dishwasher. We were replacing our dishwasher, and before they hauled it away, I went and took out all the parts I could easily remove from it. And this one here is the lower arm, that shoots the water out. And it sold for $29.95. So this will help us pay for our new one that we got, because they got expensive. We wanted to get it before tariffs and all that were to kick in. So anyway, we got that, but we're able to recuperate some of the money. I think there's about, I think I harvested about $150 worth of parts out of it. So that helps. Here's another hood ornament. I think I got this from the same lady at the flea market. Sold for $15. Once I paid for probably, I think I paid $3 for these. But anyway, still a good deal. Make a little bit of money there. And here's another owner's manual I got from the same guy that had the Ford Fairlane owner's manual. It sold for $20. And they said, I bought this big lot of them from him. I think I paid $40 for the whole lot. So each one of these books cost me about $1, let's say. So certainly no more than $1.50. But it sold for $20. I sold a lot of these I got one left, I think, for another Ford tractor. But these were still sealed and everything. So they sold actually fairly quickly. Just took a couple months to sell those. Here's something I picked up at a local thrift store. This cost me $2.49, and it sold for $16. This is a outdoor remote control outlet. People use it to control Christmas lights. So it's a good deal for them, $16, because this thing would cost a lot more elsewhere. I don't even know if they even make this one anymore. But anyway, sold for $16. It's a good profit, and I offered free shipping because it was less than £1. Here's a Magic Mountain book by Thomas Mann, sold for $16. And here's one called Eros in Pompeii. If you don't know Eros was the Greek god of love and that kind of thing. So, he was, I think, love and fertility was what he was the god of. Anyway, it's the Secret Rooms National Museum of Naples. So this was a book published in English, probably for people that might have gone to this museum or something like that. Maybe they sold in the bookstore. There are a lot of books that I got out of this locker that came from uh, bookstores, like museum bookstores in Europe. So this one sold for $35. It was a rather large book, too. I picked this hat up. Ooh, I can't remember where I picked this one up. It wasn't that long ago. I picked it up. I remember I picked this one up at a rummage sale, a church rummage sale, and it's got Ford on one side, it's got 43 on that side, DC on the back side, and Monster on the front. Sold for $20. It cost the hats were selling for 75 cents each. And then I've had this for a while, but for some reason I didn't list it. I don't know why that is, but this is a vintage multimeter. You can measure the voltage and amperage and resistance of circuits. It's sold for $30. These are quite old, but most of them are digital now. This is a quite an old one, but it still worked fine. If you prefer the needle going back and forth and selecting everything manually, hey, you're in. So it's $30, and they paid $6.25 shipping on it. And the last item I have for you is this is something I bought at a thrift shop near me. The thrift shop is there. It exists to support people with developmental disabilities, and they actually work in there too. So when you go in there, you're not going to be getting out of there quickly, because they want to talk about stuff and everything. It's a very cool place to go, though. I do enjoy going there to shop. But it's a set of 4 canisters of vintage. I think this is called spun aluminum. I know that they're aluminum. They're vintage. They're very cool. They are kind of dirty, and I did mention that, in the description. You always reveal everything you find. It says set of some signs of wear, which you can see in the pics, but I didn't find any dents, and that's the truth. So I packed it all up, put it in a box. I offered free shipping on it. The whole set cost me, I think it was $5.95 for the whole set. So I picked that up, sold right away for $39. So I hope this helps you out, everybody. Maybe it gives you some ideas of things that you can look for when you're looking for items to sell in your shop. You don't have to necessarily stick with one thing. Maybe you want to, if you say, oh, I'm only going to sell clothes. If you know clothes, then you should go with clothes, But if you want to sell other items like hard goods and this kind of thing, hopefully these ideas will help you out a little bit. I've been selling on eBay since 1999, and I've seen a lot of things. I do estate sales. I buy abandoned storage lockers. I do thrifting. Pretty much all kinds of places that I get stuff from. And there's so many stories of weird things that you can find out there, and what people are asking for them too. But anyway, please leave me a comment in the bottom. I'd appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to my channel. I'm so close. I need to get up to 500. I only need a couple more subscribers, and I'll be at 500. And I'd really appreciate that. And in return, I will try and help you out in your reselling business. Or if you just like to see what kinds of things sell, hey, that's awesome too. But anyway, thanks for watching.